What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counter Punch Boxing News, and I got some new news to report to you today. I just recently, watched the interview with Deontay Wilder. He's in Belfast. I needed to cover that. Tyson Fury's dad, he went berserk, you know what I mean? And he looks like he was pretty pissed off when Deontay Wilder came in and crashed the weigh-in and the face-off. And he looked like he was pretty serious. He's a big guy himself. He ain't as tall as Tyson Fury, but he's thicker, he's more sturdier. And the way he was acting, it didn't look like it was something from a staged act, okay? It looked like some true real-life drama going on in there. And we expected this. This is why this fight, this potential fight, rather, will be a great anticipated fight. Radio Raheem, good friend, he interviewed Deontay Wilder, and Deontay Wilder, gave his assessment of how he thinks the fight will be with Tyson Fury, why he's fighting Tyson Fury, and he spoke on Joshua also. But, what he said about Fury, he looked just like I said, in my videos. He said it out of his own mouth that him and Tyson Fury has some of the same traits and the same attributes, as well as like personality and character, because these guys say what they want and they do what they say and they get what they want, so keep that in mind, okay? And these guys shook on it, and the fight was made basically in 2 days. That's if he can get past Pianetta Fury, right? And and Joshua will be there for the commentation. He is hired once again. And he did address the Joshua situation, and what he said about that, first off, he said that he would have went to the Joshua fight when he fought Parker, but, Joshua got whim of it, and then, Deontay heard that there was more or extra security that was added because he was there, and he kind of took offense to it, so, by that reason, he didn't go. Okay, you can make that what you will, but that's what the man's reasoning was for that. The only thing I would question on that is, he didn't do that in the Klitschko fight. You know what I mean? Because he was there at the Klitschko fight, and he was also hired again for the Parker fight as a commentator, and he was hired by Sky Sports. So, I wouldn't have turned that check down just because I couldn't get in the ring. You know what I mean? There couldn't be too much security there if he was a hired commentator. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you getting paid to be that close to the ring. You're ringside, man. You know what I mean? You're beyond ringside. You're right there, man. You're at the lip of either one of those sides, of the canvas. So you're there. You know what I mean? You're getting paid. So, that's what I think about that. But whatever. Moving on. He also stated that his pen, because, Joshua wanted him to sign, so he handed him his pen. He says, my pen is in the river with the Titanic. Meaning that tells me that he doesn't no longer want this fight. He's not interested in it. He took it personally. He said it was frustrating, so he didn't want to fight. You know what I mean? So the want has to be in the desire to fight. And in that, and for me, I question, like, did you really want that fight that bad? Or you really wanted it at a certain time? Now you don't want it. You know what? I'm sick of it. I'm done. Forget it. Right? That's a wrap. Wrap it up, So I question that, because I question a lot of things. Because it's like, okay, when you decided to fight him, and then you hear on the other side that this deal is still on the table, it's like, it's just you refusing to fight him. That's hard for people that are against you or people that doubt your desire to fight him. That's hard to say, hey, my pen is in the Titanic to me. You know what I mean? I have to say that because that's what it seems like. Well, you didn't want to fight, but I'm like, well, if he didn't want to fight, how do you know he didn't want to fight if you don't sign the contract, of the potential fight that you say you agreed to? That's what I don't get. I don't get it, It would be different if that wasn't on the tape, because I mean they just interviewed Eddie Hearn. If you know, and then to me, I think, and I've said this before, I think these guys should be on a panel. These guys should be in the same room. None of the the woofing and the smack talking. None of that. Just really cordially telling each other like, look, this is what you said you would do. You didn't do it. Wait for the response for the other the other person. Then we could see who kind of shakes up, who kind of does this and does that. We could see because they're there at the same time. You know what I mean? Then everyone can see for themselves, hey, something don't look right about this one particular fighter when the question is asked. You know, he was clearing his throat and wasn't saying nothing. That's a bad sign. You know, let me take a drink of water, but I ain't talking, so why would I need to clear my throat? You know what I mean? Stuff like that, you know, and am I fidgeting and am I moving? You know, the body language of these people. You get to see all that if both of these guys are in the same place. You know, and for some weird reason, none of these guys haven't been in the same place since the Klitschko-Joshua fight. You know what I'm saying? I question a lot of that. Then I question it on both sides. It's not just, you know, Wilder. It's not just Joshua. I question both of those guys because it's like, is it set up like this? Is it, you know what I mean? Because, you know, Wilder said he wants it, but then like you know, if you want it, take it, get it, right? You know, but then he says, man, I'm through with it. You know, I mean, some people could look at that as a cop-out. That's all I'm saying. You could look at it like, well, dude, did you really want to fight him if the deal is still on the table? You know what I'm saying? You throw your pen now. If you wanted it that bad and you've been fighting for, what, 3 months? How long has it been? And then after 3 months, you're like, hey, I'm done. You know what I mean? Because it seems like to me that Joshua, you know, he's like, hey, here's the pen. And Wilder, he's like, you know what? My pen's in the river, so I don't want to fight no more. But then yet he says that, and this is what he says to Radio Raheem. He says that Tyson is the better fighter, and he is the better fighter, so they are better than Joshua. So they're already excluding Joshua out of their conversation by fighting each other. You know what I mean? And that's good for selling a fight. I get that. You know what I mean? I seen that angle coming from a long way. You know what I mean? So I really didn't too much like take that to an offense, because that's how you sell a fight. You know, you want somebody to see your fight. You know, I'm cooking a little bit. You know, I'm cooking a little chicken adobo. You know what I mean? I got to turn it over before it burns up. You know. But it seems like to me they're excluding it, man. They're selling their fight, but at the same time, they're still in Joshua's thunder. You know what I mean? You know, they mentioned the Povetkin fight. The Povetkin fight is not a talked about fight, which I haven't really heard about the Povetkin fight, the Josh Povetkin fight. The last thing I heard about it, Big Baby Miller came in and crashed that party like Deontay Wilder crashed Fury's, right? So, you know, you didn't really hear too much of those guys talk. You know, I did the fight study and all, but, you know, I mean, it really is not a big topic because, you know, the buildup from the Joshua and Wilder, you know, everybody wanted to see that particular fight, so I can understand why people don't really care about it. You know, I mean, people really didn't care about the Victor Ortiz and Mayweather fight. You know what I'm saying? When Mayweather fought Victor Ortiz, you know, that was another fight that nobody cared about. You know what I'm saying? So, but to me, how Josh was saying, I'm the better fighter and I don't have to fight him. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still the better fighter. You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of Floyd Mayweather. When Floyd Mayweather, you know, he always had something to say about Manny Pacquiao, some form or the other, but he never got in the ring with him. I'm the best. I'm the TBE. You know, I'm the cash cow. You know, I'm the guy that sells the most pay-per-view. I'm the creme de la creme. You remember that? He used to say that all the time. Yeah, I'm better than Manny Pacquiao. Remember he called Manny Pacquiao? Yeah, you know, he eat them Pac-Man pellets. He on steroids. You know, I'm better than him anyway. You know, he just got to take that test USADA. You know, and he was saying that. And he said that for a very long time, but you never fought him and it got frustrating. And that's the similarities of what happened. The only difference is Floyd Mayweather was the A side. However, you had a guy that you had two guys that were on parallel boundaries. You know what I mean? They were on parallel foundations, basically. Like Manny Pacquiao had just as many fans as Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? So this isn't what it is. I think Wilder has he's got more popularity. He has, because of the build-up, the desire. He's fierce when he talks. He's real vocal. But at the same time, you look at your Twitter followers. Deontay Wilder has probably about 300,000, something like that. That's nothing compared to over 1 million. You know what I mean? For Joshua. And I think Joshua has, 2 or 3 million, followers. So, yeah, that's a big difference. He might, Deontay is able to upsell himself. That's great popularity-wise, but he's still not the A side. And he has to remember that, and I think he's working on being the A side. You know what I'm saying? But even though he's not the guy with the money, and I just thought it was funny that was similar, that, hey, I don't have to fight Joshua to prove that I'm the best now. All I got to do is fight Fury. You know what I mean? And I don't know how he's going to respond if he goes in there and blows out Fury. The only thing that would help Wilder is this would be a dynamic fight like the Klitschko Joshua fight. If it's like a drug out fight and he ends up winning in the 10th, 11th round with a KO, similar to the Ortiz, he gets hurt and troubled or something in there, someone falls, they both fall, something spectacular has to happen until, for people to wash out the idea of wanting to see a Joshua Wilder fight. That's the only thing that could happen in his favor. He goes in there, he knocks out Fury, everybody going to forget all about Fury. He wasn't ready anyway. That's what they're going to say. You know what I mean? And then for you Wilder fans, you bona fide Wilder fans, listen to what I'm saying. That's going to happen. Of course, you guys are dedicated. You're loyal. So you're going to defend your boy. You've done it thus far. Congratulations. But I'm just telling you what's going to happen and what's to come for Deontay Wilder if he goes in there and blows out Tyson Fury. And Tyson Fury can only make himself relevant if he wins. So it is an interesting fight because Tyson Fury was the guy that beat the guy. He's the lineal champion. If the lineal champion goes in here and once they becomes another lineal champion by beating Deontay Wilder, either one of these guys, right? The winner takes damn near all. That's the name of the fight slogan. It should be. The winner takes damn near all, right? They definitely earn bragging rights. I get that to the T. But they got to win. And Wilder is funny. Wilder has more pressure because Wilder can't win quickly. Wilder got to convince the public that this is a tough fight. Like he's saying it's a tough fight. You know what I mean? So if he finds out, because I don't think there's any, I don't know if Wilder knows how to do that because his knockouts don't come strategic. They don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, he said it himself. Skills don't pay the bills. This guy said that. And that's a lot of reason, and that's another reason that he pissed me off from saying that, because skills do pay the bills. You know what I mean? But he has a different philosophy. He's like Bruce Lee was in martial arts. You know what I'm saying? He called a lot of stuff meaningless. He said he respected it, but it didn't work, right? Wilder's doing the same thing in the sport of boxing. He has an awkward style, but he's unorthodox, meaning he's not traditional. Okay, so he'll do stuff, and he does it a totally different way than people have been doing it for over 100 years. And a lot of people, including myself, have a problem with that. I have a problem with it because, there's boxing fundamentals and they work for a reason, and he's going totally against that. And he's relying more on his will and his power. You know what I mean? And, me personally, I would invite the day. I would, embrace that day that someone did beat Deontay Wilder with boxing fundamentals, besides getting knocked out. But until then, you have to respect what he does because he's been doing it for 40 fights. You know what I'm saying? So, we got to get him in there with a guy that knows how to do that. That's why, again, this fight is interesting. Because you got another guy that does have boxing fundamentals, that's just as fast, that's just as tall, the reach is just as long. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, this fight is worth looking at, but just scratching out AJ, saying AJ is not the better fighter, he don't want to fight, I kind of find that hard to believe. And you can still argue because you didn't do everything possible long enough. You can say I did this back then, but then if you're not still doing it and the deal is still on the table, come on, guys. You guys know what I'm talking about, okay? I don't have to keep explaining that. But, again, he is unorthodox. He's a force to be reckoned with. He's very vocal. And one more thing I got to touch, and this was something very important that he said that really touched home with me, especially being from an African-American origin, okay? In the South, I'm in Louisiana. He's in Alabama. He's 2 states away. And he did talk about things that are affecting our community, and we have a long way to go. I cover it all, okay? Those were times where people were hung and burned and pulled by trucks, and killed. Little girls ended up missing. It was bad. And, we have a long way to go as a people. And there is discrimination about that. And I'm glad that he did touch that. So besides, what's going on inside the ring or outside the ring, concerning boxing, these are outside social things that need to be addressed. And I'm glad that he did address them, because the more popular Deontay Wilder gets, the more he's going to be an influence. The more people are going to look at him as an example. Because little do you know, the Wilder fans already see Deontay Wilder is that. Exactly that. They see the gold chains. They see the dreads. I mean, they see the dreads. They see the braids or whatnot. They see the hairstyle. They see he's urban. They can relate to him. They can relate to that demographic. So eventually, the bigger he gets, he's going to have to, he has to have responsibility for the things he does. So saying all that to say that was a good that he mentioned that, he brought that up. Let me twist it. Well, when you say, hey, I want bodies in the ring, and Radio Raheem brought that up, he said, hey, that's how I felt at the time. And I don't care how no one thinks, this is a gladiator sport, and I felt that way at that time. And I'm like, okay, well, and he said, well, I don't say things horrible. He said, well, that really was kind of horrible. You said you wanted to kill someone purposely in the ring. You know what I mean? So, yeah, so you got to be careful. And, and in Wilder fans, I want you guys to look at this and listen to this and think about it. The things that he says, that reflects his character as a person. So, Anthony Joshua, you'll never hear him say anything like that. You know what I'm saying? So you look at things in contrast, and you start looking, you step back and you start looking at these guys like, well, wait a minute. Well, this guy here, he's going to orphanages. He's going to, he's talking peace and unity and stuff like that. Whereas you're playing the villain. And he said it himself, when I played the nice guy, it didn't get me anywhere. So, there's a lot, now I'm being me. So I'm like, okay, well, you were playing. So that means you were faking back then being the nice guy. Now you're being yourself. So you're actually, honestly, the bad guy, or however people view you. So, but again, he has to be held accountable, for the things that he says, because he has a lot of people other than himself looking at him and looking up to him, because children are our future, and they're going to look at that like, hey, yeah, I would like to hit somebody and kill him too, because Deontay Wilder said so. You know what I mean? And this is over here, okay? This is in the US of A, and then the more important, the more popular he gets again, he has to be held accountable, and has to have a better, has to use his words wisely. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, I know this was a long video, but I had to get that out there. The fight looks like it's going to be a good fight between him and Fury. I look forward to it. We just got to see how the saga unfolds. But again, you guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.